Welcome to the Sci-Fi Center, the place to be, where comic books and wrestling collide magically. Movies, TV shows, and pop culture we share. Get ready to rock, we're here to take you there. From superheroes to aliens in outer space, we've got the latest news and reviews in our embrace. Turn on your screen, let the neon lights glow. We'll take you back to the 80s. Let's rock and roll. Sci-Fi Center, where the legends come alive. Get ready to geek out, let your imagination thrive. We're diving into the past with a touch of modern flair. Sci-Fi Center, the ultimate pop culture lair. Come on down and get your geeks and geeked at the Sci-Fi Center. We got almost everything a geek could want at the Sci-Fi Center. You name it, we got it. Star Trek, Star Wars, Marvel, DC, and everything in between at the Sci-Fi Center.
Happy Saturday and the triumphant return of the Saturday afternoon watch parties. Today it is a classic from 1981, Excalibur, one of the prettiest movies made in the 80s. It's a beautiful movie. So this is by request of Clint, who I will bring in a second. One of the reasons why I had to delay it was originally supposed to start at 2, and I had to move it because it's Saturday and the weather is perfect, and I have customers coming in and out. I actually have some in the store right now. So I had to delay it because I didn't have enough time to set up everything, make sure my equipment, my sound, everything, the internet was working. For those of you who don't have this movie on physical, which is probably all of you, except for Clint, I have tethered to the top of the chat a free version of it that you can stream and watch right now if you want to. I mean, so you can watch it with us. You don't have to go to Amazon. You don't have to go to YouTube. You don't have to pay for it. It's right there. Internet Archive has a version of it, and I pinned that version to the top of the chat. So once you guys are ready to do that, anybody who's watching along afterwards, which ends up being the majority of our people when we do these live streams, you can go ahead and click on that, and we'll give you time cues of where we're at. It's a 2-hour and 20-minute movie, so let me go ahead and bring in the reason why we have this movie today in the first place. Hello, Clint. How are you doing?
What's up?
Not much. We are not going to have Brad till later on tonight. Brad has come down with what he calls the atomic flu. Yeah. So this guy's been sick for quite a while. And
It sounds like he has an infection of some sort.
I'm hoping it's not a bronchial infection or something like that. I'm going to be I'm going to be in contact with him because, like I said, if he's not well enough, I don't want him stressing himself out, just to co-host our little YouTube show. And he did, like I said, he's sounding better, but he says he's going to be ready for tonight when we do our 8:00 show. We got a big show tonight. I'm going to be covering, probably while we're on the air, AEW's Australia and Grand Slam Australia, which has some pretty big matches on it. That should be taking place right after the NBA All-Star break live, so I'll have that on this TV, so we'll be covering that. I am going to go into spoiler reviews in regards to Captain America, Brave New World, a movie I enjoyed, and most of the people I've talked to enjoyed. Critics didn't enjoy it, but you know how I feel about those guys. So we're going to go into spoiler. Got some comics and stuff I want to talk about. Got some music I want to talk about. Back to our normal slot. The last 2 or 3 of these have been on Sundays, which I know is throwing everybody off, but we're back to normal tonight. So we're going to have some fun. we're going to go ahead and if everybody's queued up, I am at all zeros. So Clint, you want to give us a countdown and we'll hit the play button?
Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Yay.
Like I said, this is a beautifully done movie.
I have never seen a better King Arthur movie ever. All other ones that I've seen have been chintzy and cheesy and, and everything. But this is just brutal.
Now, the Clive Owen one with the one that came out in 2004, it wasn't the greatest movie, but for some reason that I resonate with. It's not better than this, but it's a fun movie to watch. I love Clive Owen and just about anything he's done when he played King Arthur, but this one was like literally, if you could draw the movie Excalibur back then, this is what it would have looked like. My favorite thing about this is the metal. All the metal in this looks like, unless there's blood or unless there's fighting, it just looks like the Cylons from Battlestar Galactica. It's all shiny and beautiful.
It also it tells a whole story from beginning to end.
Yeah, a lot of King Arthur storylines come out, they tell a certain section of the story. They don't tell you the entire myth from beginning to end. So this movie is one of, in fact, it is, like you said, the only one that actually does that. And the imagery in this is really, if you were a kid back then, and I was a kid, I was 7 when this movie came out, and I did see it in the movie theaters. You got to realize the kind of things we were being exposed to back then. The very next year, we would have Conan, things like the Beastmaster. A lot of the stylistic that this movie brought, those movies copied. They didn't do as good a job as the originators in this movie did, but you could see the influence of Excalibur. Anything that had sword and sorcery in it, you could look back to this movie and it was a heavy influence. Wow. Witness Protection Program has released them.
What's going on, everybody?
What's up? Long time no see. How are you doing, man?
What's going on? I can't stay long, but I figured I'll turn this on for a split second and watch with you.
Yeah, let's like to know you're alive. I was told your work schedule was wonky, so I understood that completely. Trust me.
It also starts off pretty gory too. Very gory.
You guys were talking about other King Arthur films. I haven't seen a ton of them, but a few years ago, A24 did one about Gawain called The Green Knight. I thought that was pretty cool.
I thought that was really good. The Green Knight in general, like I said, is a really cool myth.
Mm-hmm.
The whole "take my head" and "are you lying to me" type of thing. The test that you see throughout. So I enjoyed that movie. Now the dialogue in here is you got to be on board with the dialogue if you're going to enjoy this movie.
I mean, it's sword and board, right? But it's Helen Mirren. And who's the guy that plays King Arthur again?
Oh, who is it, Clint? Hold on, I should have had this.
I don't know the actor, but
I'll bring it up. It's been so long since I watched this one.
I watched this. I didn't watch Justice League right when it came out, and I just by coincidence, by a fluke, I ended up watching this before Justice League. So when they make
because it's heavy.
The comparison to BVS at the end to the end of this movie, I definitely see that. And I do like when you were talking about how the metal kind of has a fantasy kind of shiny look to it when you're watching everything when it's like not in a fight or out in the grime.
And for what I understand from the myths and some of the history, that was really important to them. It's kind of like the military when we're not fighting and stuff like that, where our uniforms are pressed and looking pretty, but when you're fighting, it's all hands are off. Okay, so let's see. Starring Nigel Terry is who plays King Arthur.
And
so
you said,
go ahead.
Oh, you can finish. Go ahead. My bad.
So give you a list of who's on here: Nigel Terry, Helen Mirren, who's going to stay hot until she drops. Nicole Williamson, Nicholas Clay, Sherry Lungi, I can't pronounce her name right. Paul Jeffrey, Robin Adel, Liam Neeson. Liam Neeson's in this. Man, he's been around. and Patrick Stewart looking the same as Patrick
Yep.
Stewart always. I think Patrick Stewart came out of the womb looking like that.
Yeah, like an old guy. This came out 3
yeah.
years before Dune, and he was Gurney Halleck or Gurney Halleck and
Yeah,
Dune
and
as
he's
well.
in Life Force, which is basically borderline porn, but it's a great movie. This movie, I cannot believe this, even for its time, was a relatively cheap movie to make. 11
But it
million.
looks so good. Yeah,
Yeah,
looks
and
really
it was a blockbuster. It made 35 million back in that day.
And the special effects are still good today.
Yeah. If
So this was
movie holds
your suggestion, Clint?
Yeah, every now and then I come up with a good movie other
I
than
know.
Howard the Duck.
What scene kind of like really does it for you, or is it the whole movie? Do you have like a scene that really takes you over? And
It's the whole movie. It's like it tells a good story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it tells it from beginning to end. It's got treachery.
It even goes, even all the way, and it goes to his son. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I agree with you. It's a full story you get.
Hey, Dork Knight, I put it on the top of the chat. It's tethered to the top of the chat. You can go ahead and click that, and it's a free version. And right now, I am 5 minutes and 51 seconds in.
Yeah, about 5:45 or so.
Yeah. How you doing, Jurassic King?
That's Sydney Sweeney before she got famous, dancing right there.
I mean, it just has everything: betrayal, lust, just deception, loyalty.
Yeah, because most of the King Arthur movies, they focus on a specific, like even the one I kind of like, even though it's not the greatest movie, the 2004 version, it focuses on a historical, the historical relevance of King Arthur, the Romans, and things like that they put together, and then it cuts off. You don't see Lancelot, you don't see the battle between those two fighting over Guinevere, things like that. You don't see that in this movie. It gives you, when you leave this version of the movie, you're done with the story. You're pretty much done with the heart of the story.
King Arthur is like an old national myth, right? So there's not one book of King Arthur, right?
Pendragon.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, King Arthur is fiction, but it's based in some history. I've watched a lot of documentaries on what could have been the factual King Arthur and all that kind of stuff, and historical locations.
I'm gonna nerd out on you, William, and hit you with the books. I know you hate books, but Romance of the Ten Kingdoms, right? That's a fictionalized Chinese history up to a certain 1,000 years ago or 800 years ago, but they have their history in a book, but then they have a fictionalized propaganda version with all the magic and shit like that. So like how you describe that is how I look at Romance.
And also the battle scenes in this are just realistic, or at least how you would just assume they would be.
Whoever did the lighting for this, I hope they went on to have the best career.
It has a dream-like effect to it, especially when you're in darker places. I think.
Yeah, that gold hue.
Mm-hmm. Like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom when they're eating the monkey brains at the dinner, and it all looked like it was a dream when they were eating, and that place where the dancers were and stuff. That kind of looks like that.
Hold on, got customer very back, guys. Thank you for calling.
When did you first see this, Clint? Clint's out.
I'm sorry. What were you asking?
Oh, when did you first see this?
When it came out.
Oh, okay. So you saw it in the theater?
Yeah.
So you were hanging out. You must have been the people that went out right before the Waynes, because the Waynes went to go see Excalibur and they got shot down on the street, according to BBS. Are you an Arthur fan? Are you a Merlin fan? Who you have a favorite character in this, or you don't really take sides, you just enjoy it, or how do you like to watch it or enjoy it?
It's Merlin's the driving force of this movie, but he's not but King Arthur, it's hard to pick a good character because they're all good characters. Every single one of them in the movie makes the movie.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, to your point about the fights and the special effects for the fights, they hold up very well because it's more realistic, right? They use a lot of fire and things like that as opposed to.
And you hear the clanking of the metal and
Mhm.
everything. You don't.
Absolutely. Agreed.
It's not
Are you?
like I mean, even Lord of the Rings, you see
Hmm.
people get hit with swords and it's like nothing. And it's like,
Hmm.
oh, they're getting hurt. But these people aren't getting hurt by just getting hit by swords. They
Hmm.
have to hit a special part of the armor.
Hmm. Now, are you off in space right now?
Nah, I'm grounded because I might have to drive later
Got,
today or something.
got it. Well, I'll burn one in your stead then.
All right, cool. Thanks, man.
So, William, thumbs up on that. I mean, thumbs up on Brave New World.
I thought so. I enjoyed myself. I had a lot of fun with it. It's not perfect by any means, but it's just
Eh,
fun.
nothing's
The
perfect,
fight
William, but
scenes,
it moves the
yeah,
story forward in a cool way, in a good
it
ways.
definitely moves the story forward.
Hmm.
And that's all I
Because
really ask.
they were stuck. They were stuck at Eternals. The story never moved past Eternals. Like everything
Yeah,
that you've done before Eternals, you can actually have it happen before Eternals, and it doesn't affect the story
yeah.
at all.
And also it reflects the change in management.
Hmm.
Bob Chapek leaving and Kevin Feige taking over. You can start to see now where he's rerouting the story where he originally wanted it to go, or where he changed his mind and wanted to go. And so this movie lays a lot of groundwork. It gets me even more excited for Thunderbolts. So I gave it a thumbs up. Like I said, it could have been a lot better, but for what it was, I had a lot of fun. Got me a popcorn bucket. Had fun with the people that went with us. So
So I feel like before, and I think it was. Help me out if I'm wrong here. Was it William Hurt that was
William Hurt,
that
yeah,
was
he passed away.
yeah, he had passed away. So they hadn't done a lot with Thunderbolt Ross, but they were setting up Thunderbolt Ross in the background. I don't know if it was for the Thunderbolts or Red Hulk, but they were using him as the leverage in Civil War, and
Yeah,
then that carried over into Infinity War. That's why they had the Secret Avengers in the beginning with Captain America, because they were off the books. And so they
yeah,
had a
which
little something going, and Rhodey was talking his shit with him, but then dude died right after Endgame came out. So it's like, so does it feel like it picks up from where it went, or does it just start a whole new Thunderbolt story? Do you think?
I think he will be included in it. I just don't know if it's going to be the same way that it was when.
Well, how they had it, but it wasn't really like he was super important to the story. But they definitely had. He was there ever since
Yeah.
the end of Hulk. You know what I mean?
Let me give
And
you this
Iron.
though. Have you seen it yet?
No, I'm waiting on you. I'm waiting
Okay.
to watch it, but I want to get your blessing on it.
I think that a lot of the stuff that happened in this movie, is going to be relevant in the very next movie come out in Thunderbolts.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like they wouldn't make a Thunderbolts movie and then have an emphasis on Thunderbolt Ross. I know they do everything out of order.
Another thing that about this movie I like is how they Merlin being magical. It's not over the top. It's just
Like a ritual thing he does, like he's an alchemist almost.
yeah, he's an alchemist, and this is part of the magic that starts the whole story.
I'll listen in later to what you're talking about, William. I haven't seen it, so I'll
Okay,
kind of cut it back.
later on tonight, I'm going to go
Yeah.
in depth in.
That character's name is Morgaine, the little kid.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's just we're just barely into it. Fourth,
Morgan's his sister, right?
Half.
yes and no.
Yeah, it's complicated. Hold on for a second.
Is it Morgan or Morgana?
It depends on it's a couple of different.
Morgana.
Here it's Morgana. In Americanized stuff, it's Morgan.
And the sex scenes in these movies have a purpose.
Mhm.
It's just not gratuitous.
And it's juxtapositioned against the other character dying, while you know to create a new legacy over here. Shot of Merlin.
I mean, look at the battle. I mean, they're showing him they couldn't get the weapons that
Mm-hmm.
stuck in him out, so they had to cut the weapons and bring them in.
Mm-hmm. I think you got somebody in the back chat, William.
Yeah, I see him. Unfortunately, it's somebody I don't want to. No, I'm just kidding.
Got it.
So Walrus. Yeah, sure he is. I'm pretty sure Williams Fly and Williams Pants and Williams Bed will all be joining us too, right?
What's going on, Antonio and Anthony?
I promise you, I am not Williams Fly.
You'll slip up one day, and we'll be like, "Oh."
I will expose all my aliases.
How much you want to bet that Williams Fly is Brad?
You know what? I have entertainingly thought that one of these is Brad, and that he's going to reveal it one day.
The thing is, it's Brad hasn't shown in his normal demeanor the type of jokes that you see in the other stuff, so it might not be him.
It'd be hilarious if he has this sense of humor that he just doesn't bring.
That only shows up when he's fucking around.
When he's messing around. He's like a stand-up comedian somewhere that makes big bucks just telling jokes, and it just doesn't come over on the show.
His shtick is that he's a dojo comedian. He goes on the whole pokey.
Dojo Brad. This isn't the Brad I know. Who is this? Cracking jokes that are funny. If they're funny, then I'm gonna be like, okay, where's this Brad at on the shows? Dad joke Brad is that's who we get.
Sorry, I'm still stuck on dojo comedian.
I would agree.
And the kids are laughing. The kids are like, "That's funny, Brad."
I would graduate. I mean, not graduate. I would agree with Anthony. You said Anthony had a comment he wanted us to read, but yeah, I guess I agree. Merlin's not a necessarily good or a bad. He's just a force of nature in of himself.
Oh, what's the timestamp?
We are at
1815.
Yep.
1815. Yeah, this movie looks beautiful.
Clint's duck is the xenomorph. When did that change?
No, that's been that way. I don't know where the hell he found that.
Probably AI'd it.
I don't AI shit.
Good. Guy with integrity out here. So people could stand and learn from that.
All right. I'll be right back, guys. I got to go help some people.
Yeah. You seen this before, Fourth?
No, I haven't seen this. I've been meaning to watch it.
Pretty good. I only see it. I saw it maybe a year before I saw Justice League. I saw Justice League late, but Lynn said he saw it originally in the theater, and William definitely talks it up. But when I did see it, I definitely enjoyed it. I was looking for something else that I couldn't remember, and I ended up coming across this, and I found it highly enjoyable.
I found I think there was a copy of it on YouTube, but it was a bad copy, so I didn't finish it.
Well, William has a copy in the archives in the chat if you haven't seen it.
You can still buy it on Fandango if you want.
Okay. Oh, Fandango streaming or PVOD.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's as good as everybody says, then I'll probably just get like see if there's a 4K copy out there somewhere. If it made it to 4K yet, but this looks really
William,
nice.
William and Clint were pointing out some of the kind of just how the armor looks in certain scenes when it's not like a battle and how shiny and I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess I would describe it as fantasy-esque, but I mean, Clint's right
Well,
here.
it's pretty close to how they battled in medieval times.
did they go for that type of authenticity on set? Was that like a highlight of when they were making the movie?
I don't know, but they did.
Looks good anyway, right? So
Yeah.
Zach basically Superman death scene in BVS off of some scene in here, a scene in here. So
Yeah. Nice little foliation filter over everything. It kind of blues all the highlights.
what's going on, nerd? You got a nerd in the chat? Shit.
Oh, what's going on? Now we're just missing Fun. Have anybody seen Fun and shit? Still MIA.
Nerd's about to go upside somebody's head with that wrench. I tell you what, Nerd brought the wrench to the chat.
See how people were hitting each other in the armor, but the armor was holding.
Clanking, yeah.
You know, unlike in most movies where you get hit, the armor is just there for comic effect, I guess.
They say that a lot of these swords are made to like basically smash bones instead of slice and dice and shit. Is that true?
Clint.
Oh, we lose Clint.
And I'm sorry, was someone asking me a question?
Mm-hmm.
Was the sword combat in these times compared to how it was depicted in movies? Were swords made to like smash bones and instead of slice and dice on people?
Yeah, because they couldn't cut through the armor, but you get it like bows hitting armor was the same force of a 22 caliber bullet. You get hit a few times like that, no matter what armor, you're still beat up. You may
like
not
how that guy right
killed.
here, collarbone is, that was like
Shattered.
a very volatile.
Yeah, even though I'm safe, I got an infection where my bones broke, so I'm just gonna die a lot more painfully and later.
Yeah, and the healthcare system at that time was pretty.
It was leeches, leeches and bloodletting.
Yeah.
They kind of use swords like a can opener, also in medieval times.
Get in a piece of the armor, get in a little fold of the armor, and try to pry it open.
Yeah.
In a gap or whatever. Yeah.
I heard a lot of designs of castles were based on invasions, a lot of spiral staircases so that people not wearing armor could flee compared to the heavy people wearing armor.
Well, the windows in the towers are called battlements, just specifically so you can put a person at range in your window. Gentlemen, can I get a timestamp, please?
I'm at 23:19. Hopefully that's close to where they brought me in.
The sword is in the stone right now, and they're trying to have a tournament to battle, see who can pull the sword from the stone.
23,
I got them.
23:40.
Chasing 23:30. Okay, 40. All right.
23:40. Yeah, I'm at there. Okay.
King Arthur just pulled up in his horse, or the guy to be who Arthur Pendragon pulled up in his horse. Not the king yet. Patrick Stewart's still got the cul-de-sac. He hadn't cut it all off yet.
He was holding on to it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to cut it in case they come up with something in the future to bring it all back.
Mm-hmm. I heard this Star Trek: The Next Generation show is looking for a captain with a full head of hair, and I think I'm going to go for the part. So I don't want to cut anything off.
You just missed it, William. Let me turn mine down. Is mine too loud? Make sure I'm not getting any background noise.
I don't hear any background noise, but that's just me. So
Another thing, battles didn't last very long in the medieval times because you're moving in armor.
That's
You're going to wear
pulling your
out.
stamina. Yeah. Yeah. And
Robert Leonard, sorry if I butchered the last name. Medieval swords were largely cutting swords with minor emphasis on thrust. But in 1981, we were still stuck into the edgeless iron club myth. Interesting to know.
that's what fourth looked like in high school when his mom or when his somebody as a girl walked in on him.
What, trying to pull the sword?
That's what it was, pulling the sword. I got you. Okay, I got you.
I would have been straight up. I'd have been like, it's not what you think, but it was mass.
I'm sweating and struggling because I'm really thinking hard here. It's caught me at a bad time.
So what keeps the sword in the stone according to like the lore within the story? Is it like a god thing, or is it just like?
Well,
They have like
give it a minute, Fourth. Give it a minute.
Okay.
It'll explain it.
Give myself some.
But Excalibur is kind of like Thor's hammer. You have to be worthy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, awesome, Robert.
All this cool armor, and back in the medieval times, they never didn't know what a barber was just yet. Bowl cuts were the thing.
Oh, this is gonna sound silly, but which character is King Arthur? Is this him?
Gentleman just pulled the sword out.
Oh, yeah, he just pulled it. That answers that question. Because they all kind of have villain face.
That's the only criticism I have of this movie. It's got 81 hairstyles.
So, Robert, was the armor more cloth and metal still at that time?
He didn't just pull it out. He showed everybody. Oh, that is not me at the bottom, by the way.
And just Merlin shows up out of nowhere.
He may not come when you call, but he's always on time. Yeah, we got his hair platinum.
That's his thinking cap.
Got some more information from Robert to answer your question.
Give me a second here. In the Dark Ages, it was. Okay. So they started out like they're like
Well,
like
yeah,
a brand new tarnished.
there's very few knights in this movie compared to armies. But yeah, most of them could just barely afford any armor, but the rich guys could. And that also, knights are like tanks in the medieval world.
Hmm.
And also, this is a fantasy movie.
Williams Fly said nobody could afford deodorant yet because it wasn't invented, but neither was stench. Stench didn't get invented until the late 1960s. So
Oh, yeah.
they invented stench, so they had a reason to sell deodorant.
And technically, there's no such thing as the Dark Ages. They're just medieval times.
Oh, I don't have time to go get one. You should.
There's that owl, but
Comedians?
the owl's more vicious than that snake is.
An owl is a flying death machine.
Telling me about it.
It's like rodents and small stuff, right?
Let's pick up a cat or a snake or whatever if it needs to. Might pick a little small child up. Hell, Fourth, if you're out late at night and the owl's hungry, you might be up in the air getting chomped
Yeah,
on. You never know.
hungry enough.
I had to drop them off. I've been trying to get a hold of them.
Oh, well, we have to worry about. We have a lot of hawks in the air.
Another
Those
cool
things will
bird.
pick up. Will pick up your pets.
Paper mache lightning effects, very cool. Oh shit. Hold on a second.
You have somebody wondering about their last two comments in the chat for you, Clint.
King Arthur's a legend. It's based on, I mean, people. It's the idealized thing of a king and everything, and it's kind of it's a mythology. There might have been a King Arthur. They don't really know. This movie is based on the book La Mort d'Arthur.
Le Mort as in the death, like French for the death.
I think the English pronounce is Life and Death of King Arthur.
Okay. This is when they used this song and it was still epic before they used it for like dog food commercials and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, when they play the O Fortuna in the next time, it's amazing.
You got one more pertaining to you, Clint, from Robert.
In Lord of the Rings, it's more more real fantasy, not even based in the reality. But Lord of the, dwarves could wear the armor because they had the stamina on it, but everyone else couldn't, or they did wear it, but they weren't running.
That's me using a shield right there.
And the Lord of the Rings armor is just kind of flimsy and doesn't sound like real armor. It sounds more clacky, like thin steel metal. This movie has like real iron metal because you hear the clanking and the.
That's how William had fourth on the ladder in the store. It sounds like, according to their story.
Getting flashbacks.
It was a real war there, huh?
Oh, they say never meet your heroes.
Never get on a ladder near them. That's for sure. Like I said, missed opportunity. Missed opportunity.
And the only reason Arthur's beating up all these knights is because he has the sword of power.
Mhm.
So, like, his odds are increased because he's sort of blessed in this when he's holding the sword, or just
Well, right now he's a squire.
oh, okay,
It's before you're a knight. That's on the come up to be a knight.
yeah. I thought I was breaking the rules.
In the really real world, him kneeling in that water would have killed him.
Just because of the
But
sepsis and other kind of bacteria and blood and infections and shit in there.
Well, he has a wound in his stomach.
Well, you see it's dripping out the side of his stomach, so it's all good. It's going in one hole and out the other hole. He's good.
yeah, what's going on, Drogon?
Oh, we got Drogo in here. What's going
Yeah,
on, Taladia? Drogo.
Saladi's. Oh, you see Saladia. Busted a stitch.
See Liam Neeson right there.
I want one of those cookies.
It's not big enough for William.
That's what she said. Somehow.
William wouldn't eat one of those cookies.
The fuck are you guys talking about? Yeah, medical.
William be like, do they have any 6-pound pretzels?
Pretty much, or sandwiches.
As a fisherman, fish are not clever.
Are you a catch and release or a catch and eat?
I don't torture animals. If I catch them, I'm eating them.
Take William fishing. Make sure he gets out of the sci-fi set every once in a while. William in nature.
I mean, getting hit by a lance and armor like that is just like getting hit with a shotgun straight to the chest.
They ever bring like jousts into battle as like a weapon and not for dueling?
No, jousting was strictly, hey, look how tough I am.
Or-
Yeah.
Someone needs to wake up, according to the chat. What's going on, Dr. Butcher?
William is frozen. He's frozen in 1989 through 1995. 1987 through 1985. That's when William's frozen.
Hey,
What's going on, Claudia? How you doing?
hey, what's up, everyone?
So
I've been,
So,
I've been in the back for the last 5 minutes. I thought William probably was upset with me since last night.
Nah.
That's why.
been in the bathroom the last 5
You
minutes?
should be down by
No.
back
room.
room.
Back.
Back room.
Yeah.
The back
No,
room's
I
next
just
to the
don't like I said. When it comes to Storm, I don't think you're gonna ever see her get a solo movie. Later on, I think you would see her in Black Panther. I mean, but years down the line, once they establish a new Storm. But I don't know if any X-Man besides Wolverine is gonna get a solo movie. It's just that's always the way it's been. Even in the comics, they didn't start doing solo X-Men comics until Wolverine came out in 1982.
That said, William, they do have like 3 good like major storylines in the last 2 years going around just Storm and how
and they can incorporate them, but I still think it's about 6 years before we see that kind of mutant activity. I think you'll start to see them, but collectively it'll be after Secret Wars. But you'll start to see, different versions of these characters, and then they'll solo them on. But yeah, I think people are thinking I don't want to see a later cast either. I hope they do what they've usually done when it comes to MCU. I start with the original 4 or 5 characters. Start with the original Magneto, and then branch off from there. So I hope that's what they do. I don't want to see a Wolverine part of the X-Men immediately. I think that's something that should be 5-6 years in the making. Same thing with a lot of those second generation characters and third generation X-Men. If you're incorporating them into an entire universe, I think they should start with Iceman, Angel, Cyclops, Jean Grey, Magneto, Professor X, and then go from there. I hope that's what they do. I think that's what they will do. But who knows?
They need to have.
So what's the
need to have Marvel
timestamp?
go for.
So what's
Timestamp is 52:41.
45. Yeah.
52?
Right around that general area. And you can click it if you don't have this. You can click it right at the top of the chat. Talati, I got to put it in there for my internet archive.
Need to have Jean from the beginning so you don't rush your storyline.
Yeah, and then Professor X's entire plight up to Magneto. There's a lot of character development that happens during those first founding. You can have all these other characters. You can have all the mutants, but collectively, when you start talking about X-Men proper, it should start.
So, William, what does X-Men have to do with King Arthur?
Camelot.
what was it called, William? The tournament they had, it was X of Swords, or what was it called? Swords of X. Powers of X, Swords of X. they had a round table of knights.
I just had to do that because how many times have you done it to everyone in this chat?
Mainly Fourth and Brad.
Sure.
Because Fourth and Brad take us to other planets when it comes to other shit. It doesn't matter what we're watching. Brad brings in some shit from the raid. It gets crazy.
Wow, William's the raid guy today. Nobody brought it up with William today.
Because you can't bring up Brad without bringing it up.
Well, I never
I like the black armor on this.
Yeah,
that leathery. That's actually more effective and probably lighter weight than what everybody else is wearing.
It's that chromed out armor.
Yeah, that's what as a kid. That's what always got me. Especially when they weren't fighting, when they were just being, in garrison. That shine was like, damn, because I was watching Battlestar Galactica at the time, so I'm like associating it with those guys. The Cylons were always shiny.
Tucker Carlson played Lancelot, and then he decided to go into a political news career. But his first job was Lancelot in this movie.
They spared no expense making this movie, though, back from $1981. When you look at the average price tag for making a movie in 1981, this was one of those ones that they said, whatever we need, spend the money.
Who directed this? How do they? There's such a big budget. What it looks like.
Who directed this? This is directed by John Borman. Let's look at his. still alive. Cool. Let's look at his resume going
This
up.
was
to
on the
that.
marquee when the Waynes got shot in BVS. So, of course.
Okay,
This is
so
Talk.
prior to this movie, this guy at Deliverance, he was nominated for Academy Award for Best Director and Best Picture for Deliverance. He was nominated for Best Director, Hope and Glory. BAFTA, he's all over the place. I mean, this guy was an accomplished guy before this movie. Now, unfortunately, he does have a blemish on his. Oh, he's got a couple of blemishes on his record, depending on which one. The Exorcist 2 sucked, and he both wrote and produced and everything like that. Zardoz, I can't even picture that fucking movie because of how ridiculous Sean Connery looks in that costume. But yeah, this guy was an accomplished guy. This was a top tier director at his time, and Orion Pictures and Warner Brothers, their partnership in the 80s. They didn't miss. Even their shitty movies made money.
I could see a lot of Deliverance inspirations in this movie.
And some that we don't need to see or hear.
I see a lot of Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Well, yeah, because of obviously the name. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. What year did Holy Grail come out, Clint? Hold on, let me look at that. I didn't see that in the movies.
You saw a comedy live in the theater?
No, I did not see it. 1975.
Oh, okay. That tracks. That tracks.
1975.
Yeah, I was one. No, like I said, the last comedy I paid to go see in a movie was Tropic Thunder, and I don't see that changing with the advent of streaming. I might still watch some of these things, but I'm not going to actually dedicate time to. This is not my genre. It's not my top genre.
Williams travel with an old butler.
Who's Dr. Butcher? What, I am looking up.
We were all into the movie. We were all into the movie, and you were away from the desk, so the channel might have been frozen.
See, now look at the armor now. They shined it up. Don't approach that castle unless that armor shined up. Even if it has a gash or whatever in it, don't matter. You better shine that shit up. That's what they did in this movie, dude.
Uh-oh.
Here we go.
Lancelot caught Guinevere's eye, right? So.
I get insecure real quick if the girls are just giggling for no reason.
Yeah, well, back in those days, you're just hanging out in the mud with the guys 23 hours all the other time, so I don't know. Might get over it quick.
Fucking Tucker Carlson.
So for the Snyder analogy, if that's Batman, that's Lois and Batman right there. That's if that's the reference he's making.
Well, the story of Camelot, really, you can see it in a lot of stuff that even isn't this genre. The basic structure of this is like I said, obviously Zack Snyder and all that, but a lot of other movies, even a lot of other foreign movies, a lot of Asian movies, a lot of Asian horror. This genre, this story has affected a lot of genres. That's what makes this movie so cool. This movie got copied the hell out of after 1981. There's a lot of really fucking B-level type movies that tried to reach this, but they just couldn't. And it's weird because Orion was known primarily for low budget bullshit. The 80s was they just put out, if there was an alien movie, they put out Alien Predator or Alien Bird. They would just basically make B-level copy shit. So for this was like top tier for them. And then Warner Brothers distributed. But you look at Orion's catalog and you look at this movie, you're like, wow, they must have put down the booze for a little bit.
Now, did this get all its well-deserved praise at the time? Was it overlooked?
Yes. No. It made the money, and it was nominated for a bunch of. Oops, hold on. This battery's messed up. If I disappear, it's because my laptop battery is not working too good right now.
That's Helen Mirren right there.
Yeah,
dude, you got to tell.
Academy Awards by now, but has not won one, which sucks.
You still with us, Teladia?
Here we go. Is he?
Sorry.
Okay. Is he there? Oh, he's there. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Here.
So let's see. When it comes to accolades, let's look at accolades. All right. Awards nominations. It was British Society. It won for best cinematography. But let's see what it did for the Academy Award. No, for Academy Award, it was nominated for best cinematography, best costume design. Won a was nominated for a crap load of Saturn Awards, which back then was a big deal. I mean, it's kind of got watered down these days, but the Saturn Awards, since science fiction and horror is just not really, science fiction fantasy, and this was considered fantasy, just not represented very well back then. It's still not today, but not back then at all. Saturn Awards were the best things you could get. Hugo Awards, that's BAFTAs, things like that. Should have been nominated for best movie that year. It won at the Cannes Movie Festival, so it was very heavily accoladed. But it wasn't the type of movie that was like the critics are like gonna put like Kramer versus Kramer or things like that. I think the fantasy element of King Arthur's Legend really hurt it in that respect. But even still, it still got nominated in about every category out there, and it's regarded. To be honest with you, at 44 years later, it's regarded as a classic. And it's not one of those classics that bombed and then people got respect for it. People respected this movie right out of the gate. Nice. As you can tell just by the box office alone. And that's a lot of money for 1981. That's a lot of money for 1980 and a huge profit margin, $24 million profit margin. And this was back when they didn't spend a lot of money on advertisement. It was just the trailers. You didn't have a lot of the added on costs that make the movie. So that 34 million that it made is the 34 million. That's not a fudge number.
If you happen to watch the trailer, if you buy the movie and you watch the trailer for it, the trailer sucks so badly.
Yeah. You know what really sold this movie back in the day, Clint? The biggest thing that sold this movie? The fucking poster. That poster, when we saw that, I forgot when we were leaving the movie theater. See, there was a huge ass. The poster for Excalibur was beautiful. It was beautiful. I actually had that poster at one time here framed, and I sold it. It's a beautiful poster. Let me see if I can bring it up. Because the trailer was didn't do anything.
It was like a lot of the trailers in the 80s were just like. He was a guy.
Well, there was no high spots to really show for this, I mean, that wouldn't really, it's not like Rambo where he's like cutting down a bunch of people or Sylvester, Let's see the movie.
Even old Rambo.
They could have shown him just chasing down that rabbit as a.
Yeah. Sure. It's covered.
Yeah, but his armor's got some hips on it. I don't know about that.
Well, you have to kind of move on the battlefield. You just don't move very much.
going on, Slotty? Did you get yourself some ice cream, a shake, and,
Yeah.
and a tub of ice cream?
Yeah. I ordered some food, so that's what I'm eating.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean,
The Oreo cookie shake.
no. I ordered some like what's it called? Sweets sprinkled on with some ice cream.
Yeah.
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 I got to order some ice cream.
Ah,
Where's Brad, by the way?
Guess
That
he's with
has
his mother.
Captain Trips.
Right.
all right.
When I first watched this movie as a kid in the theater, it was a bit too much for me.
Like intense or long or.
It's complex for me as a
I couldn't
7-year-old.
follow the story.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I had plenty of those when I was a kid.
I was like in the single digit age, like
Same
9
here.
or 10
I was
years
7.
old.
We went with our
Depending
school.
what
We went with our class.
depending what month I just came out of the womb.
All right, so here's this one right here. Just imagine this poster, one of those huge movie sheets that they had back in the day. They still have them now, but they were much bigger back then. So you see this coming out. This poster is beautiful. This is what they had in the movie theaters. So when you went out
looks
to
like a-
go see another movie, yeah, this
That looks like a
is
Frazetta.
this is an eye-catching picture coming out of the day. This type of movie poster would influence all the fantasy type movies going forward. When you look at Conan and Barbarians, when you look at Beastmaster, when you look at all those, they're all influenced by this movie. And here's the half sheet ad that you would see in the newspapers back when they would do full page ads in the newspapers and places like this. This is what they would advertise, and this would be in like your movie section. Back in the day, you looked up, the movie times and everything else, and everybody who wanted you to go see their movies, they did things like this, full color ads. This would be about maybe a 5 by 10 inch, something like that, and they would put this in here, and even that was done by the same artist. But this one right here was like this one that when I saw this, I wanted to go see it. I didn't care what it was about. I needed to see this movie. And the old man, he was going to take us, but then I think it was my second grade teacher who was
That's
big into Excalibur, big into the legend, big into British films and everything else. I think she was actually born in Britain. Her name was Miss Madera. I won't ever forget that woman. She took us to the movies at least 3 or 4 times during that year, and she took us to see this. So the old man didn't have to sit through this because I don't know if he would have. But yeah, that's where what got you. And a lot of times back in that day, trailers weren't as big a deal because they didn't play a lot of them on TV. Most of the time you went to, back in the 80s, you went to the movies a lot more than a lot of people do now. Because there wasn't streaming, there was, cable was relatively in few homes. So you went to the movies. So they made sure that if there was a movie they wanted you to see, the trailer was in there. The trailer for this movie, yeah, it doesn't do the movie any favors, but that poster did.
I remember the days of having to look up on the newspaper for the movie
Oh, yeah.
section.
With time, the dates, the time, maybe there's a coupon because, the old man, that's where I got my cheapness from. He would clip the coupon on to get a kid in free or some shit like that, man. Hey. And that's when we didn't go on the base. A lot of times we would go on, the base because the base would get it a little bit later and it would be way cheaper. I mean, you could get into a brand, a relatively brand new movie out of rotation for like $1. And then a certain amount of kids were free. I mean, sometimes it was free outright, and as long as you bought popcorn, if you went in and they'd give you a free ticket, you bought popcorn and soda, that was it for them. It was kind of cool back then. Growing up on an Air Force base had its cool things, man.
That shot looked cool when they all arrived at the round table and all their shiny armor. At
Yeah, I
first.
love that scene.
I was like,
Like I said,
honestly,
every
just
time
hold
the
on.
armor right now, everything that they have, even Merlin's head is shiny. Everything is shiny in it. It's like, and whoever was filming this understood the importance of every angle this movie has to offer. The close-ups, the far away, the lighting and the color, not just the lighting, but the effects that the lighting, the other colors that it gives off. Like there's certain points where they're in those caves where it gives off a green hue. That's because of the way they aimed everything. You know, it was, this movie was like way ahead of its time. Like I said, Clint was right. These things that they did for this movie hold up 44 years later.
Yeah, the halation, whatever they use for the blooming effect, maybe Vaseline on the lens, maybe a stocking behind the lens. I don't know what they used at the time, but makes everything kind of glow dreamy like.
Yeah, it's like you're watching a real life type of thing, but it's a fantasy, and that glow gives off that fantasy aura that it needed to be.
The most recent thing I can remember that what they did like this was that was pretty cool. Was Zeus's armor in the Wrath of the Titans or whatever it was
Yeah.
with.
It's one of the few good things about that movie. I thought when they were going to remake Clash of the Titans, I thought, you know what, this is cool. You got the technology to do something. You know, Ray Harryhausen was a great, but let's see what we can do here, 20, 30 years later. Man.
And also, when King Arthur was fighting Lancelot to cross the road, King Arthur was wearing his battle armor because he was in the middle of quelling the whole land of England, I guess, or whatever land you want it to be. And now that he's quelled it, he's got everything conquered. Now he's wearing his nice, shiny, fancy armor.
Yeah. And this armor just looks cool, man. This makes the movie.
Hey guys, I gotta end up get going here, so I'll end up talking to you guys later. Enjoy.
All right, see you later, man.
Yep, I'll try to check out y'all later. Take care, everybody.
All
right, peace.
Take care. Have you seen this before, Saladia?
Nope, I have not.
Oh.
First time seeing this.
Okay. And you're aware that it was a pretty big inspiration for BVS?
Yes. And I think this is a huge inspiration for. I can't remember what the film it was. The Witcher, maybe.
The Witcher. Oh, yeah. I haven't heard that one, but I wouldn't doubt it's pretty popular.
I can only stay for a short while, though, guys. I'll be honest with you on that.
Okay. Ooh. All right, that should look real.
Kiss one kidney goodbye.
I know, right?
I wonder where this is where we get the word persevere.
But
Or as Percival was named after the word persevere. This must have been really hard for the actors to act in with all that heavy plate.
uh, like for jousting stuff, when you clearly see somebody getting rammed off their horse, like man, like kudos to stunt guys or whatever, but that looks hard to go through, even if it's just a movie.
Yeah, no one's really dying or anything, and they probably have a whole bunch of padding in the armor. But still, it's got a walking around in armor is not easy.
Uh, it's like the first Bohemian Grove meeting with that statue in the back.
See, they fought for like 3 seconds and they're out of breath.
Sorry, just to be sure what we saw here. That was like a court system joust.
That was medieval justice because no knight could stand if they're not telling the truth. They would lose in battle.
Oh, okay.
Random timestamp for those of you who are watching later on. We are at 1:21:20. If you want to jump in.
That's what I would imagine Williams fly. Maybe not so much like Dragon Ball, but or would they wear increasingly heavier armor so that the regular armor seemed light for training?
The dude does everything to get away from her, and bitch has to follow her.
He could say no. That chrome dome hat. Ugh. If I get you a hat like his, Salati, would you wear it on the stream?
What did you say? Sorry.
If I get you a chrome hat like that, would you wear it on stream?
No, no, hell no.
What if I signed it?
No, I'm not. I'm not wearing that on stream.
All right. That was the last chance.
I don't think Talati could wear it because he is follically enhanced.
I know I'm jealous. That's why I'm trying to cover it all up.
Yeah, I'm real jealous of Talati, man. He's got a healthy head of hair.
I try to get Nerd's hair, Cosa Nostra, and he cut it all off without donating it. So now I'm eyeballing Talatia's hairdo. So whenever you want to donate, whenever you don't need it anymore, Talatia.
Okay. I'll let you know. I'll let you know, man.
See how easy that was, Nerd. It was a fight to get Nerd's hair. I'll be waiting for yours.
Like right here, this scene that you guys are watching, the colors and the lighting here, and that fire in the background, just how this is shot is beautiful.
Yeah.
Like I said, when I as 7-year-old me couldn't quite grasp the concept of what I was watching, but I could grasp the way this looked.
Yeah. I have to look at what score this is because this was the beginning of Melancholia.
Yeah.
Now I'll have to rewatch this movie because I'm watching it with the sound down low so that I can interact with you guys. But I was wondering, is she trying to be like an apprentice of Merlin, or what's her deal?
Well, to explain the movie, she was the mother of King Arthur. That's her daughter. Merlin made Uther Pendragon look like her husband, so that Uther Pendragon can sleep with that woman, and then she gave birth to King Arthur. So they're like half sisters, so half brother and sister, King Arthur and Morgaine.
Oh,
And then she's been plotting and scheming to take down Merlin and King Arthur because of that treachery that Uther Pendragon did and Merlin did with her mom.
gotcha. Cool.
And
Thank you.
she now is using the same magic that Merlin did so that she could sleep with King Arthur. So it's brother and sister sleeping, half brother, half sister sleeping with each other here.
What's that, William?
Incest is best. Long before Game of Thrones cornered the market, this movie did it.
Oh my god. I could go a lifetime without hearing that slogan.
It's historically accurate.
Dang, no umbilical cord, everything just a clean break. And I hope in your frame, William, that's not your 75-inch TV on the wall. That looks pretty small.
Now,
Looks like a-
at the home office. This is just a donated TV that I use to watch wrestling with.
First game of this doubleheader, you see the other two pitchers on the ASU roster, and we've been later and tipped in how that's necessarily going to go, considering last night that Bill was on the mound is necessarily going to see the least.
I'm going to need to mute somebody. It's not you.
I think it's Clint.
Okay, Clint just did. Okay. I know his parents.
Sorry about that. Sometimes I forget.
Sorry.
The timestamp, Aaron, is
Aaron,
1 hour 30. Huh?
Tell Aaron I sent her a link.
Oh, yeah, okay. We have a link, Aaron, in case you have to click. It's 1 hour 36 minutes and 33 seconds. She said she just got back from mowing the outback and the out front too.
I believe it.
So she just covered acres of land. And just in case you're still fiddling with it, Aaron, 1 hour 37 seconds and 10 seconds. Sorry, 1 hour 37 minutes, 12 seconds. These landscapes.
This is the quest for the Holy Grail.
Sounds good, Monkey Jeebus. What are you, a bartender or a stripper or what?
Could be a dealer.
Huh? I've tipped my dealer before.
I'm not talking drug dealer. I'm talking dealer of cards.
That's what I was talking about. Yeah, yeah. Oh no, Uber. Oh, I was way off. Good to have you here, man. That's right, Mighty Rex. But we also don't condone not doing any drugs. Just take a neutral stance.
That raven eating that eyeball stuck with me when I was a kid, man.
I'm with you, William, on this one. Anything with the eyeballs that gets me.
That scene fucked me up too.
Have you seen this one, Aaron? I think maybe everybody's seen this movie but me. Are you down for a It Ends With Us watch party, William?
No,
Oh my god.
I'm tired of hearing about that movie too. All the stupid shit that's gone on around it.
Damn, that kid looks like young Trump.
I'm going to be AFK for a bit.
FK. We did a Howard the Duck marathon, and yeah, I don't know if we can take another one of those.
Nope.
I think we have to do at least once a year, William.
Well, for Howard the Duck, we do it on Clint's birthday, which is in October, so we've already done it.
Oh,
We have another 8 months.
some of these locations are pretty strange. Like they have kind of like a non-medieval feel, but like a brutalist architectural feel. Yeah, when you look at a lot of the lighting and stuff, it is very stylistically inspired.
All that glitter in the air.
Oh my god, glitter sucks. You just pick it out of your hair and clothes for like weeks. Aaron was asking if the kid is Arthur.
No, that is Mordred. That is their son.
Then I think you can feel the pain, William, of Monkey Jeebus's last question. And you can relate.
I know I can't. Sorry.
Both of you guys have a thing about pants. I don't know what it's about.
No, you have a thing about pants. Fortnite is getting a Blade Runner collaboration. That's good. Any new Blade Runner I take, boy.
I'm surprised there's no Blade Runner games.
There's one coming out that they're working on, and they had a trailer for it, and the trailer is awesome. I don't know what the status of the game is. Yeah, they put a trailer out of it. It's really good. I got to check up on the status of it.
Do you think they should go more actiony in the future? Not like turn it into an all-out like schlock fest, but like incorporate maybe a little bit more action, shorter runtime, so that it's more accessible. No, just as is.
I think it's just you're just gonna have those people are just gonna have to catch up to it. I think the formula that has been the long-term success of Blade Runner should stay in place, even if it's even if the initial box office or results aren't necessarily what you want. Eventually, it comes around. So I wouldn't make too many adjustments to Blade Runner. That's just me. That's my opinion, though.
Okay. Yeah. Would you play, even though you're already keeping up to date? Would you play the Blade Runner game as much as
I think I might play it just to I'm not a gamer, but I would play it just out of interest.
Interesting. Oh. I feel your pain, Aaron. I don't know how big your backyard and front yard is, but I had to do it as a kid. Before we had an actual electric or a gas motor, it was the push lawnmower. We had to go back and forth with just the blades.
Back at the keyboard.
What's up?
People were asking me earlier, what's your best favorite character in this movie? I don't really have a favorite character, but I do have a favorite scene, and it is coming up.
Okay.
When they start singing, or when the music starts playing "O Fortuna," that's when the scene starts that I really like.
Okay.
Notice the chalice filled up while he was holding it.
Yeah.
All right, random timestamp for those of you who are watching this later on. We are at 1:55 exactly. The score being used for something like epic instead of like just it being used for potato chip commercials or shit. You know?
The land was all muddy and gunky and everything, and now that he's back, it's coming back to life.
Yes, because he is one with the land.
That's a badass seeing him riding on with all the flowers and everything. Yeah, he's a legendary character that actually knows he's legendary.
Both him and Kevin Sorbo Hercules.
I have not watched one episode of that.
I tried to give that show a chance. It was just too cheesy for me.
It's fun schlock when it comes on at like 12 midnight and you're still up and you don't have cable. I would not recommend it outside of that. But they do got to bring Xena back, though.
Aaron, it's the best King Arthur movie I've ever seen, and I really don't look for any other.
It's almost over. This movie does kind of go fast for a 2 hour and 20-minute movie.
That's because it has a really good story to it. Hubris here.
It's a cool trick Merlin pulls on her.
Well, he sucks into her hubris.
Yeah. He pretty much takes advantage of everything, her vanity, and just completely fucks her in this one.
Oh shit. See, I was doing that to you, William, when you tried to knock me off that ladder. I was putting my hands around it.
Yeah, but see, Mordred, he succeeded in his mission. I failed. You're still here, so. But I there's future opportunities.
Mm-hmm. That's gonna be the coolest armor I've ever seen in a movie for like that
Mordred.
gold ace. Yeah. Question to William: does this archive site have other movies on there?
Yes. Yes. If you go on it and just click home, there's a whole bunch of movies. And if you're ever looking for a movie, just type that movie's name in Google and then type Internet Archive, and you'll find a lot of movies in there. All right, final battle. The armor even looks cool in all that dense ass fog.
Yeah.
By the way, Lancelot just comes in, just clearing the field, man, kicking all kinds of ass. I mean, he took out like a quarter of all those guys.
Yeah. We got one for you, clip from Eric.
There you go.
Yeah, they did a really good job with the costuming in this.
Yeah. Although this scene always really didn't sit well with me. I'm like, just let him stab you. I thought there should have been a bigger battle, but this is the way the legend goes, so I'm okay with it. It still looks cool.
You know, Aaron, it's no Howard the Duck, but it is pretty good.
All right, for those of you watching, where his final timestamp is going to be 2 minutes, 13 seconds, 2 minutes, 2 hours, 13 minutes, and 56 seconds. And please hit the like and subscribe and the notification bell so you know we're up and at it again.
I should subscribe. Let me subscribe right now.
I mean, I don't have a history degree, Aaron, but I don't know if King Arthur ever existed in real life or not, other than this is just a legend.
There's a lot of historical speculation and a lot of people who have brought up a lot of pretty compelling evidence that he really did exist. Obviously not in this form necessarily, but there's what they're saying is there's a basis of his existence. So, you know, that's enough for me. I'm easily pleased. I love this sunset, this or dawn, whatever the fuck it is. It's just really cool.
Yeah.
Sunrise, I think it is.
Well, I think it's sunset because it's the end.
Okay. This scene's pretty cool. This is a pretty famous scene from this movie right here, where he catches the sword.
That's cool. What's the song? This music's name?
I'll have to look it up.
It gets used in a lot of stuff. It's like the entry to Valhalla or something like that, or God's Chariot of the Gods.
And this is Arthur being carried to Avalon.
Is that like medieval Valhalla?
Yeah.
Because King Arthur didn't die.
Yeah, he ascends into folklore. All right, there's no post-credit scene, so there you guys go. That was after showing so many shitty movies over the past couple of years. This was one of the ones that was probably up there in the top tier movie. So hope you guys enjoyed Excalibur, released in 1981. Very underappreciated movie, and like I said, released in an era where these kind of movies didn't get the Academy Award type of prestige that they did, even though it was a highly regarded movie. It just science fiction, horror, fantasy. They just didn't think of those movies like that back then. So for those of you watching afterwards, the link is at the top. It'll stay there, and the timestamps are there. I hope you enjoyed our interaction, and I hope you learned a little bit more about the movie, either via myself or mainly Clint, who knows more about this movie than not. But like I said, as you watch this movie and you for the first time and you've seen a bunch of other movies, you'll see the influence in retrospect. So okie dokie. I will be back tonight roughly around 8. I'm watching NXT right now, Vengeance, and then I'm going to be watching Australia, AEW, Grand Slam Australia. That'll probably be happening while I'm streaming. Like I said before, we're going to discuss in detail Captain America, Brave New World. Got a musical topic, got some comics I want to talk about. Depending on how annoyed I get through the show, I might open the panel, but no promises. All right, guys, please like, subscribe, and I will see you in about maybe 3 hours. Everybody say bye.
Bye, everyone. Have a wonderful time.
I forgot Talati was even there. Damn, hey.
Yeah, follow Gunna Path.
Gonna snatch.
All right, bye.